My dear students, good morning. Welcome to the class. Today I shall be taking up the chapter Albert Einstein at School by Patrick Pringle. In the previous video content, I already talked about half of the chapter, and today I will try to finish this chapter. I request all of you to keep the textbook with you so that you can easily understand the meaning of the chapter. Okay dear, so let's start. In the previous class, I told that Einstein was quite apprehensive and he wanted to go away from the school. He don't want to continue his education for the diploma. So he talked to Yuri, and he was just trying to find out a doctor who will give him that required certificate. Dr. Ernest Well, is he a specialist in nervous troubles? Asked Albert. Not exactly, Yuri admitted. As a matter of fact, he only qualified as a doctor last week. You may even be his first patient. You know him as a student, then? I have known Ernest for years. Yuri hesitated for a few moments. He is not a fool, he warned Albert. What do you mean? Don't try to pull the wool over his eyes. Pull the wool over his eyes is an idiom that means cheat or deceive him. So Yuri is trying to warn Einstein that Yuri is trying to warn Einstein that Dr. Ernest is a doctor, though Einstein may be his first patient, but he needs to be very much careful. Don't try to pull the wool over his eyes. That's all. Be frank with him, but don't pretend you have got what you haven't. Not that you had deceived anyone. Yuri added, you are the world's worst liar. Albert spent the next day wondering what to tell the doctor. When the time arrived for his appointment, he had worried over it so much that he really was quite nervous. So he was quite nervous because Yuri has already informed him that he will have to face a lot many problems to convince him, the doctor, to give him that particular certificate that he wanted. Right here, let me adjust it. Okay, yes. I don't really know how to describe my trouble, Dr. Weil, he began. Don't try, said the young doctor with a friendly smile. Yuri has already given me a history of the case. Oh, what did he say? Only that you want me to think that you have had a nervous breakdown and say that you must not go back to that school. Oh dear, Albert's face fell. He shouldn't have told you that. Why not? Isn't it true then? Yes, that's the trouble. Now you will say there is nothing wrong with me and you will tell me to go back to school. Don't be so sure of that, said the doctor. As a matter of fact, I am pretty sure you are in a nervous state about that school. But I haven't told you anything about it, said Albert, wide-eyed. How can you know that? Because you wouldn't have come to see me about this if you hadn't been pretty close to a nervous breakdown. That's why. Now, said the doctor briskly, if I certify that you have had a nervous breakdown and must stay away from school for a while, what will you do? Doctor is also trying to find out that Einstein joined the school. From the past 5 years he is studying in the school, and now he wanted to leave the school. So he is quite apprehensive. So he is trying to ask this question to Einstein. What will you do after that? I will go to Italy, said Albert, to Milan, where my parents are. And what will you do there? I will try to get into an Italian college or institute. How can you without a diploma? I will ask my mathematics teacher to give me something about my work, and perhaps that will be enough. I have learned all the maths they teach at school and a bit more, he added when Dr. Weil looked doubtful. Well, it's up to you, he said. I doubt if it will come off, but I can see you are not doing yourself or anyone else much good by staying here. How long would you like me to say you should stay away from school? Would 6 months be all right? This is very kind of you, doctor. It's nothing. I have only just stopped being a student myself. So I know how you feel. Here you are. Dr. Whale handed him the certificate and the best of luck. How much? Nothing. If you have anything to spare, invite Yuri to a meal. He is a good friend of mine and yours too, I think. After Albert had no money to spare, but he pretended he had and took Yuri out to supper. Right, dear? So you can easily understand the condition. Right, dear? Let us go to the next page. Yes. Okay. Yes. Isn't it wonderful? He said after showing Yuri the certificate. Now Albert got the certificate, the desired certificate that he wanted, and now he is boastfully showing it to his friend Yuri. That see, isn't it wonderful? He said after showing Yuri the certificate that he received from the doctor. Yes, it's fine, Yuri agreed. 6 months is a good period. This way you won't actually be leaving the school. So if the worst comes to the worst, you will be able to come back to carry on for your diploma. I will never go back to that place, Albert assured him. I am going to take this certificate to the head teacher tomorrow, and that will be the end of it. Don't forget to get a reference in writing from your mathematics teacher first, Yuri reminded him. Mr. Coach willingly gave Albert the reference he wanted. My dear student, this line, the conversation between Einstein and his mathematics teacher, is very important. Why I am saying this? Because you will come to know at the commencement of this chapter, you came to know that how Einstein was regarded as a disgrace. His history teacher said that you are a disgrace. But now you will come to know in the same school, the mathematics teacher is saying that Einstein, after some time, Einstein is so genius that after some time he will definitely be teaching me after some time. So you will come to know. Mr. Coach willingly gave Albert the reference he wanted. If I say I can't teach you anymore and probably you will soon be able to teach me, will that be all right? He asked. That's saying too much, sir, said Albert. It's only the truth, but all right, I will put it more seriously. It was still a glowing reference, and Mr. Coach made the point that Albert was ready immediately to enter a college or institute for the study of higher mathematics. I am sorry you are leaving us, although you are wasting your time in my class, he said. It's almost the only class where I am not wasting my time, sir, said Albert. But how did you know I am leaving, sir? You wouldn't have asked me for this reference otherwise. I thought you would wonder. There's nothing to wonder about, Einstein. I know you were going to leave before you knew yourself. Albert was puzzled. What did the teacher mean? But many a times we feel that teachers, they don't understand us, but you will experience that. I personally have experienced that. I have personally experienced teachers know far better. Sometimes when you don't know yourself, teachers know you a lot, about you a lot, right? So Albert was puzzled. What did the teacher mean? He soon found out before he had a chance to ask for an interview with the real head teacher. He was summoned to the head room. Well, it saves me the trouble of having to wait an hour or two outside, he thought. He hardly bothered to wonder why he had been sent for, but vaguely supposed he was to be punished again for bad work and laziness. Well, he had finished with punishments. I'm not going to punish you, the head teacher said, to Albert's surprise. Albert was surprised to know that the head teacher has called him not to punish, because whenever head teacher called him, he used to punish him. But this time, he was surprised to hear that. I'm not going to punish you, the head teacher said, to Albert's surprise. Your work is terrible, and I'm not prepared to have you here any longer. Einstein, I want you to leave the school now. Leave school now? Repeated Albert, dazed. He was surprised. That is what I said. You mean, said Albert, that I am to be expelled? So Einstein is trying to ask the teacher that, do you mean that you want to, I am expelled from the school? Actually, Einstein must be happy That's why he went to visit to the doctor. You can take it that way if you wish, Einstein. The head teacher was not mincing words. The simplest thing will be for you to go of your own accord, and then the question won't arise. But, said Albert, what crime have I committed? Einstein is trying to know the reason that why he is being expelled from the school. So he asked a simple question to the headmaster, that, sir, please tell me the reason. Please tell me about the mistake that I have committed. See this remark about the great person, the great scientist. Your presence in the classroom makes it impossible for the teacher to teach and for the other pupils to learn. You refuse to learn, you are in constant rebellion, and no serious work can be done while you are there. See, my dear Einstein, this is the same scientist who got the Nobel Prize in physics, and he is treated as if he is a nonsense child studying in the school and disturbing the classmates as well as the teachers. Albert felt the medical certificate almost burning a hole in his pocket. I was going to leave anyway, he said. Then we are in agreement at least, Einstein, the head said. For a moment, Albert was tempted to tell the man what he thought of him and of his school. Then he stopped himself. Without another word, holding his head high, he stalked out. He wanted to tell something to the headmaster, that what he felt about the school, about the regimentation, about the strict disciplinary attitude of the teachers, how they used to force him, and he used to tell him that only learning facts is education. Learning facts is education. And that Einstein denied many a times, and because of that he argued with his teachers, especially the history teacher. The story commences from that only. He stalked out. Shut the door after you, shouted the head. Albert ignored him. He walked straight on out of the school, where he had spent 5 miserable years, without turning his head to give it a last look. He could not think of anyone he wanted to say goodbye to. Indeed, Yuri was almost the only person in Munich he felt like seeing before he left the town he had come to hate almost as much as the school. He hated the school for the last 5 years, and he hated the place as well, the city. Indeed, Yuri was almost the only person in Munich he felt like seeing before he left the town he had come to hate almost as much as the school. Elsa was back in Berlin, and he had no other real friends. Goodbye and good luck, said Yuri when he left. You are going to be to a wonderful country. I hope you will be happier there. That's all from this chapter, my dear students. I request all of you to read this chapter, go through the lines, give an intensive reading with this chapter, and try to write all the question and answers of the chapter. This chapter has only 3 questions given in the exercises. You need not stop here only. You can find out 4 or 5 more questions from this chapter in text questions, and explain some of the lines, especially the discussion of Einstein with his math teacher, with his history teacher, and the headmaster of the school. Why he wanted to leave the school, why he hated the strict disciplinary attitude of the teachers, right dear, regimentation of the school, he hated the regimentation of the school, right dear. I hope you will definitely listen to that, to this audio, and go through the chapter. Thank you, dear students.